Good morning. Okay, we'll get started. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order at 10:04. Before we get into the full meeting agenda for the May 21st, 2026 Chicago Plan Commission meeting, I want to quickly provide guidance to those who want to provide testimony on the cases presented for public hearing today. A few of you may have already submitted forms electronically, but for anyone who may wish to testify before the Plan Commission, please fill out a sheet located on the table where you enter the room. Please include your full name, address, if you're for or against the proposal, and if you're here representing yourself or an organization. Please hand your sheets to one of the staff members. People who have completed forms will be called on after each item is presented. Thank you. Out of respect for other speakers, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please line up at the microphone behind me and to my left in the order I call your name, and please do not repeat comments that have already been made by previous speakers. The public comment portion of the meeting is not a question and answer session of the staff or the applicant, but an opportunity for attendees to voice their opinions on a particular proposal. Out of respect for others, please do not interrupt or disrupt the speakers. Any individual who disrupts the presentation or any subsequent comment session may be asked to leave the council chambers, or if necessary, may be escorted out by security. We will now call the roll. Commissioner Barkley? Not here. Commissioner Boatwright? Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield? Here. Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda? Thank you. Commissioner Cheeks? Thank you. Commissioner Curtis? Present. Thank you. Welcome. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Here. Commissioner Johnson? Not here. Commissioner Galakia? Not here. Commissioner La Espada? Not here. Commissioner Lyons? Not here. Commissioner Murphy? Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Ramirez Rosa? Not here. Commissioner Reyes?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Cicho Lopez? Not here. Commissioner Esposado? Not here. Commissioner Tillman? Not here. And Commissioner Villegas? Not here. We will now approve the minutes from April 16, 2026, regularly scheduled Plan Commission meeting. The minutes were distributed prior to today's hearing. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission held on April 16, 2026? Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Boatwright. Do I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Brumfield. Roll call vote. Commissioner Boatwright, can you confirm?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield? Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda? Abstain. Thank you. Commissioner Cheeks? Thank you. Commissioner Curtis?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Murphy? Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you. Motion passes. Reminder, we will take public comments for the items on the agenda after each item has been presented. If you have not already done so and you wish to speak on an item, please complete the testimony slip available at the table just outside of the room. Staff members are available to assist if needed and will collect the forms from you. Now we will move on to the public hearing presentation portion for matters submitted in accordance to the Lake Michigan and Chicago Lakefront Protection Ordinance and/or the Chicago Zoning Ordinance. The first item is listed as D1, a proposed residential business plan development submitted by 3303 South Justine LLC for the property generally located at 3301 through 3315 South Justine Street. The applicant is proposing to rezone the site from M2-1 to C2-3 and then to a residential business plan development. The applicant proposes to construct a one-story retail building containing 14,300 square feet of commercial space in an outdoor plaza, a multifamily residential building with 67 dwelling units, 69 parking spaces, and a maximum height of 56 feet, a multifamily residential building with 132 dwelling units, 87 parking spaces, and a maximum height of 93, and 9 townhomes with 9 parking spaces. The overall FAR of the development will be 1.21. This is item 23046, and it's in the 12th ward. Omar will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Omar Smailebegovic with the Department of Planning and Development. This proposed development is generally located at 3301 South Justine Street and is located within the McKinley Park community area within the 12th ward. The applicant and their development team appear here today for the purpose of establishing a residential business plan development at the subject site. 3303 South Justine LLC submitted an application to rezone the subject property from M2-1 to C2-3 and then to a residential business plan development. The applicant proposes to construct a mixed-use development consisting of a one-story retail building, 9 townhomes along South Justine Street, a 4 to 5-story residential building with 67 dwelling units, and a 9-story residential building with 132 dwelling units. The total development would contain 208 dwelling units, 165 parking stalls, and an overall FAR of 1.21. Plan development review and approval is required for residential developments exceeding 60 units of multi-unit or mixed housing types in a C-3 district. The subject site is located in the McKinley Park community area, which has a population of approximately 15,400 people. The site is currently improved with a vacant industrial warehouse and associated surface parking. The surrounding land uses include light industrial to the east and south, commercial to the north, and residential to the east. The site is approximately within half a mile of a CTA Orange Line station and is served by CTA bus routes along South Ashland Avenue and West 35th Street, qualifying the site as a transit-served location. The site is not located within an industrial corridor as defined by the Chicago zoning ordinance. I'll now turn the presentation over to the applicant team to discuss the details of their proposal.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tyler Manick. I'm an attorney with Shane Banks, Kenny and Schwartz. I'm the land use attorney for the applicant. Before going into the slides, I just wanted to take a quick moment to introduce the development team. To my left is Ben Kennedy with Kennedy Mann Architecture, who will shortly share the design of this project. With the project development team, Sharon Wong to my left. To my right, Jack Chongus with the development team, and Louie Abuna with KLOA, who will act as our traffic consultant and will be available to answer any questions at the conclusion of this presentation. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ben Kennedy.
Good morning. Which one advances it? There's 3 remotes. Okay.
And if you can state your name for the record.
Ben Kennedy, Kennedy Mann Architecture.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. Sorry. Thank you. Again, Ben Kennedy, Kennedy Mann Architecture. We're the architects for the project here. Here's an aerial image of our site looking from the north to the south. We have a 10-foot easement along Justine, a 33-foot easement along 33rd. We're going to have a 50-foot buffer along the south as well as the east of the site. From a site context plan, our site is, overall is about 232,000 square feet. We have single families and 2 flats across the street along Justine. This plan and all other drawings in this presentation are north is up on the drawing. We have retail and manufacturing to the north, as well as manufacturing to the east. In manufacturing and office to the south. On here, what we previously, when we first presented to DPD, that is our left slide here and the previous. In our first iteration to the current, the first iteration presented, we were looking to do multiple retail buildings. Buildings A and B were both retail buildings. We were initially looking to have parking along Justine in front of retail building B, then a centralized landscape area, common landscape area, and then 3 7-story residential buildings. Through that effort, we realized there was a different direction that was much more preferred, more fitting within the neighborhood. So the revision is now gone to having a more height characteristic of the neighborhood. So along Justine, we've taken away the parking. There's not a retail along Justine. We have 9 townhouses directly across from, and those townhouses are a typical 3-level townhouse, roughly 28 feet high. That starts to mimic some of the heights we have on the west side of Justine, where we have singles and 2 flats. We do have gone down to 1 retail building at the north, but we've also pushed it off the property to have a landscape buffer at the corner. And then we've gone down to 2 residential buildings. The L-shaped building in the middle is a 4 and 5-story building. And to the east is a 7 and 9-story building. So both of those buildings step as they go up. Additionally, we ended up including a 50-foot landscape buffer to the south and to the east. Additionally, more property included into the project on the south to have even a larger landscape buffer along the south. This is again the proposed. We have buildings A is our retail, building B is our 4 and 5-story residential, building C is the 7 and 9-story residential, and building D are our 9 townhouses along Justine. From a conceptual rendering perspective, this is at the north side of the site. In the foreground to our right is the 1-story retail. Directly south is a 4 and 5-story residential building, and to the left is the 7 and 9-story residential building. All residential or condos as well. This image is at the corner of 33rd and Justine, right in front of the retail. We don't have landscaping shown here, so we can see the building, but this retail building here in the foreground would have landscaping and a plaza right here in the to the right. To the right in the background, you'll see the series of townhouse buildings, and in the far left background is the 7 and 9-story building. This is along Justine. These are our 9 townhouses. So this view is taken from essentially the parkway of the existing west side of the of Justine, with the existing 1 and 2 flat type of buildings. And so part of the goal here was to make sure that we're hitting height characteristics. So again, we have townhouses where we are lower and progress in height as we go to the east. Site plan, this is very similar to what we're discussing here. Buildings A is retail, building B is the 4 and 5-story. Building C is the 7 and 9-story. Building D are the townhouses. This is just a clip to show the height progression to the right from a sight line or a height perspective. To the right is our existing buildings along Justine. This image is taken from the north, so you'll see the low 1-story retail in the foreground. And then to the far left or east is the 7 and 9-story. The west view along Justine, our townhouses in the foreground, retail to the left, then our 5-story, and then our 9-story in the far background. Opposite view, south view, and now our existing 1 single family and 2 flats are along the left side of the screen, progressing to the east, hitting the 9-story. And then our east view of the 9-story. Sub-area A would be our retail. Sub-area B are the 9 townhouses. Those 2 are going to be built first. Then sub-area C is the 4 and 5-story building. Sub-area D is the 7 and 9-story building. Just some quick views, plans of the retail of roughly 1,800 square feet per space, a little over 14,500 square feet for total square footage for the retail. The height varies in the retail, 14.5 to 18.5 heights. More retail. And then our townhouses, we will have ARO and all the projects Tyler will talk about a little further in the presentation. We haven't yet designed the townhouse layouts, but on the lowest portion of the slide is our first level with parking, and then second and third level. Each townhouse is roughly 2,400 square feet. Some elevations of our townhouses overall. Mostly masonry and composite paneling. We'll be parking along the rear on the east side. Our 4 and 5-story building will be parking under on the first level. We'll have parking, 3 full levels of residential. Then on our 5th, we will pull back 1 leg, which is on the west side of the building. And our north-south leg will remain at the 5th level. Again, we're 67 units for the 4 and 5-story building. Elevations of the building here, again, brick and metal panel. East view. And then our 7 and 9-story building, parking at the lowest level with lobby and core elements, trash takeout. We'll have 6 full levels of residential. Then we'll get up to the 8th level where we'll pull back part of a leg at the northern side, and 2 levels continue up at floors 8 and 9. Then some elevations of the 7 and 9-story building. As far as materials, all the buildings rather will be designed in a similar character, a lot of masonry with metal panel. We'll at least have 2, if not 3 different colors of brick, as well as 2 to 3 different colors of panel throughout the building. Majority of the building would have a typical storefront glazing, bird-friendly glazing as well. Same on the retail, as well as the townhouses. From a transportation perspective, part of this is being a TSL development. We have our TSL closest stop is along Ashland and 33rd. We will be improving the sidewalks from that intersection to our site. So we'll have new sidewalks. We'll have an APS system put at the intersection of Ashland and 33rd, and as well as a new bus stop. We'll have 12 Divvy bikes to the north side of our retail building. We'll have 208 dedicated bike parking on the overall site with 165 parking spaces, plus additional roughly 18 to 19 guest parking throughout. There's loading for retail's building. There's loading for retail building. There's also, of course, loading for the 2 residential buildings. And last on this site from the open space, we will have, of course, as mentioned, the landscape buffer along the east and the south portions of the site. From a planning context, where the project targets underutilized infill sites, promotes ownership and housing choices, fulfills equitable transit-oriented developments, and expands retail diversity and services. From an urban design perspective, the project utilizes landscape buffers for public health. Again, we have a 50-foot buffer along the south and the east. We also have landscape buffers between the retail and the sort of the quad there between the retail and the townhouses and the building B, the 4 and 5-story. And that retail again is pulled off to the pushed to the east, so we have a landscape buffer at the west end. There's been a traffic study done by KLOA, who are here to speak on traffic if need be. From the landscape perspective, again, we have to the top left in this slide are landscaping designs put together for our retail plaza, again, at the intersection of 33rd and Justine. The middle landscaping design is the sort of that common plaza between the retail, building B, and townhouses. All of this plaza, of course, is for any public use. Top right slide is a perspective rendering put together for the retail plaza. And the bottom right side is a bike path that we'll have along the south and the east of the site. More landscaping details put together. From a sustainability perspective, we will have bird protection enhanced for 30 points, building electrification, full electrification for 30 points. We'll maximize glass at 40% for 10 points, tree health for 5 points, industrial landscape buffer for 10, and 100% of the aerial on site for 15 to gain our 100 points. Stormwater, of course, we will be full compliance with stormwater ordinance as we get into the design. And I'll let Tyler take over.
Thank you, Ben. Again, Tyler Manick for the record. This slide is our project timeline. The project timeline reflects a strong collaboration with the Department of Planning, CDOT, and the rest of the departments to really make this a placemaking development opportunity. And we're grateful to Noah and Omar for the support and responsiveness they've shown throughout this process. The timeline also reflects a strong community process led by the Alderwoman that really got us to the project that you see today. The applicant team already owns this property, and they already have committed equity to the project, as well as been in regular communication with their traditional institutional lending partners who are awaiting final approvals before they can formally commit to construction financing. But the intent is upon approvals to get immediately started with this project and move towards construction within a 2-year period. Slide's the affordable requirements ordinance slide. This development will be fully owner occupied project. The floor plans reflect a diverse unit mix. The predominant unit type is family size units, 2 and 3 bedroom units. And the ARO mix reflects the family size units. All 20% of the ARO units will be on site and owner occupied. The community process was robust. McKinley Park Development Council is an active community organization in this area. The community process started with meeting with the Alderwoman and her staff, who followed up with the introduction to the McKinley Park Development Council, where we conducted site visits and engaged in community meeting with the organization. Got their input, incorporated their input to the project, and then followed that up with a general public community meeting with notice being sent to residents within 750 feet of this location. The community meeting was well attended, and for a project of this size in this area, it was very positive. The feedback that we received was all feedback on how to improve the project versus criticisms. The constructive feedback that we received was also incorporated in this project, and we're really proud of the opportunity that this project brings to the community, and I believe the community is as well. This slide is some economic and community benefits that this project is going to bring. which I do believe is substantial. This project will be a significant source of revenue for the area, as well as a major source of employment. The retail space is intended also to be owner-occupied commercial condominium units. Jack and Sharon, they live nearby this location, are familiar with the area. In fact, Jack does own a business that's also a major source of employer nearby. So they are familiar with the area and know that this retail space can bring a lot to them. There's going to be 150 plus construction jobs, 70 plus permanent jobs, the 42 affordable dwelling units that will be owner occupied and reflective of the family size units, which will be a unique opportunity for this area. As part of the infrastructure improvements, this project is constructing or adding a divvy station to this intersection, as well as building a new CTA bus shelter to connect this development with the greater CTA infrastructure. The applicant is fully committed to the city's participation goals of 26% participation from qualified minority business enterprises, 6% from qualified women business enterprises, and 50% participation from Chicago residents. So with that, I would turn it over to Omar to complete the presentation, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Once again, for the record, Omar Smailobegovic with the Department of Planning and Development. The Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the materials submitted by the applicant, and we have concluded that the proposed development would be appropriate for the following reasons. One, the proposal is in general conformance with the applicable standards and guidelines of the Chicago zoning ordinance. The project promotes safe and efficient multimodal transportation, follows appropriate urban design features respecting the context of the surrounding area, and provides new open space and plazas. Two, the proposal is compatible with the character of the surrounding area in terms of uses, density, and building scale. And three, the development has been reviewed and approved by the Chicago Department of Transportation, the Fire Department, Stormwater, and the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. I'll also note that a letter of support from Alderwoman Ramirez is on file. Please refer to my staff report for further details regarding this project and the plans identified here today. Based on the foregoing, it is the recommendation of the zoning administrator of the Department of Planning and Development that this application to establish a residential business plan development be approved and forwarded to the City Council Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards as such. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Ramirez Rosa is in attendance now. We do have two speakers signed up to speak on this item. The first one will be Mr. Butler Adams, who's for the proposal, followed by George Blakemore, who's against the proposal.
Yes, for the record, my name is Butler Adams. I am in favor of this proposal. I got a chance to go to the community meeting last year in April about this project, and I was for it then, I'm for it now. The buildings on land that are currently generating very little tax revenue is a good thing. This project will add to the built environment of the area and add a diverse housing environment to the area as well. In terms of the architecture of this project, I know that it was mentioned that the mid-rises are going to use different color bricks. With all these townhomes, would also be nice if you use different color bricks for the townhomes, just so they have a little bit of visual diversity. And one of my running jokes is, if you go home drunk, you're not going to know which one is yours because they all look alike. So have a little bit of diversity in the architecture of the townhomes, I think would certainly be beneficial. It was mentioned that over about 10 years, this overall build-out project is going to generate about, I guess, $20 million annually. So that's $2 million a year. So that's a good thing. Let's see. McKinley Park's population right now is about 15,500. At one time was more than 22,000. So adding projects like this, the area is certainly going to add to the density, and the city needs more density. It needs more people. The population has kind of plateaued right now, and I hope that we can work on generating more buildings and projects like this to bring our population back up. I do hope that these buildings are going to have kind of green roofs. It was not really determined in the programming whether you're going to have green roofs on the mid-rises or the townhomes. I hope that you do. And I think projects like this can also add to the missing middle in terms of the whole neighborhood project. I know that there was a missing middle meeting last night in the area, and I think that it doesn't have to necessarily be like single family or two flats, but buildings of this scale can also add to the missing middle project. That's about it. It's some small things, garage doors. They can look nice. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. You can start, Mr. Blakemore.
Yes, my name is George Blakemore, and I'm totally against this project and all the projects that come to this mission. What's your reason for being against it? Councilor saying Lily White, developers. Lily White, developers. And this city is gaining population, but it's losing black population. People are moving into this city. They're moving in, but blacks are being moved out. I asked this question to Madam over there. I said, do they get paid to sit on these committees and a stipend or something? No. What would motivate Rosa to be over here and these Alcorn, black Alcorns to be here? If they're not getting a stipend, they get something. I expect to see the Alcorn. Let that be one of the rules. That any developer that comes here, the Alcorn must be here, or one of the Alcorn representatives must be here. And somebody from the community must be here. I am challenging what you said about community involved. How many people from the community? And how did they vote on this project? It leaves suspect that this is all paid to play, all corrupt. I'm looking at the attorney. I'm looking at race. I'm looking at fraud and abuse. And yesterday, Mr. Blakemore had a chance to go to the city council meeting. 7 hours long. 7 hours long. This city is beautiful. People are coming into this city. What is the race of people that are moving into this global city? Surely not blacks. They're moving out. Why are the blacks moving out? And Hispanic, Asians are moving in. Chinese are moving in. The city of Chicago, they say their population is growing. But gentrified out of the city is black. But we have black faces in high places selling black people out. I'm not getting paid like that man. I'm not motivated like he's motivated. They don't pay me to be here. The ancestor sent me here. But he popped, I've been coming here for a long time, and he pops up. He's black and I'm black. But my motivation is completely different. I'm not getting any money. And I want to see, okay, I'm going to go speak on the rest of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to the commissioners. Are there any questions of the staff or the applicant on this item? Nothing. I do have a question on the timeline for the construction for all the sub areas. Can you speak to that? I know you mentioned 2-year construction period. Does that include all the buildings?
Yeah, the intention is to permit them all together,
Okay.
but to stage the construction in a measured manner, like going from west, the townhouses, retail, where that absorption is going to happen immediately, moving to the more challenging buildings
The east.
east.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Question? Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a question. Thank you for the presentation. Good project and good development for the area. I think much needed. As it relates to the timeline, I understand that the entitlements are going to be an important part of finalizing the financing and so forth, but can you please speak to how confident you are, assuming the approvals go through and so forth, about this timelines, shovels in the ground in the June timeframe?
Yes, I'm confident for a few reasons. One is they own the property already, and this development team's already been able to get the equity. In addition, they have the financing relationships already. They're developing Archer Square or Archer Center. Nearby right now, 150 units. So the banking relationships, they're traditional, like Lakeside Bank.
Yeah.
They already have them. They've had the discussions throughout this timeline with them to make sure that the project being approved is a project that can be delivered. So there is confidence.
Very good. And the terms, with this rate environment, the terms and all of that work, the numbers as it relates to what they're envisioning to keep the project moving forward?
Yes, just because they have the relationships in place, but yes, the interest terms, you don't predict the Iran war and, who knows what happens next month. But yes, as of today, there's the anticipation we're good.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Not seeing any hands. I do want to state that we do have a letter of support from Alderwoman Ramirez, as it was stated before. So if there are no more questions or comments on this item, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion. Do I have a motion on a proposed residential business plan development submitted by 3303 South Justine LLC for the property generally located at 3301 through 3315 South Justine Street, finding that it meets the requirements for approval? Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Boatright and second by Commissioner Curtis. Okay, I'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Commissioner Boatright, can you confirm? Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield? Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda? Yeah. Thank you. Commissioner Cheeks? Thank you. Commissioner Curtis? Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Ramirez Rosa? Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. He's so loud. Where is the security guard? Okay, he's leaving. The next item today is listed as D2, a proposed amendment to residential business plan development number 1067, submitted by Pilsen Gateway LLC for the property generally located at 1441 South Blue Island Avenue. The applicant proposes to rezone all of the residential business plan development number 1067 as amended to residential business plan development number 1067 as amended to add various additional uses to the list of permitted uses. There will be no new construction, site changes or modifications to the bulk or density of the existing building or the previously approved plan development. This is item 23045, and it's in the 25th Ward. Louis Clayton will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Good morning, Chairwoman Flores and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Louis Clayton with the Department of Planning and Development. The applicant, Pilsen Gateway LLC, and their development team appear here today requesting approval of an amendment to PD 1067 to add various additional uses to the list of permitted uses. There will be no new construction, site changes, or modifications to the bulk or density of the existing building or the previous approved plan development. The application has been submitted as a mandatory amendment to a plan development. The subject property is in the near west side community area in the 25th Ward. This table compares the community area's demographics with those of the city overall. PD 1067 has a net site area of 54,027 square feet and is bounded by West 14th Place to the north, South Racine Avenue to the east, South Blue Island Avenue to the west, and West 15th Street to the south. The property is designated as a transit-served location for being located on the number 60 bus route. The surrounding land uses for the area are primarily residential and commercial. The surrounding zoning districts for the area are planned development, C1-2 Neighborhood Commercial District, B3-5 Community Shopping District, and M2-2 Light Industry District. At this point, I'll turn it over to the applicant team to discuss the proposed PD amendment on the following slides.
Thank you, Louis. Good morning, members of the commission. My name is Lenny Asaro. I'm a partner at the law firm of Taft, Stettinius, and Hollister. I represent the applicant, Cedar Street. Along with me today is a representative from Cedar Street, Andrew Berry. He's an associate with the owner of the property. As indicated, this is PD 1067. The original PD was approved in 2007. There was an amendment last summer, thank you to the Plan Commission and City Council. That amendment actually allowed for the activation of the retail space at 14th Place and Blue Island. That space, I believe, is going to be opening within the next few months, and that's going to be a beverage and liquor store with a tasting room, a tavern, and a patio. So that's going to be soon to be activated. The net site area has been indicated as 54,027 square feet. There's 202 dwelling units in this building, otherwise known as the Rosie. There's 132 parking spaces. The next slide. The next slide is an aerial view, south facing north. The property is divided into two sub-areas, sub-area A and sub-area B. The amendment today, actually, it involves both sub-areas in terms of adding uses, but there's one more vacant retail space, which is in sub-area A. So at the corner of 15th Street and Blue Island, there's one vacant space. The next slide is an aerial view from west facing east, again showing sub-area A and sub-area B. Next slide is a pedestrian context. This is the northwest corner of sub-area B. What you're seeing here is the space that is going to be activated very shortly with the liquor store, the tasting room, and the patio that basically outdoor patio that fronts Blue Island. Next slide is a pedestrian context from the southwest corner of sub-area A. And this is the corner, this is the space right now that is not activated. And the good news is that the owner is in negotiations, hopefully close to be concluding with a dental office that would be occupying that space. The reason for this particular amendment was to add uses that are already permitted in the underlying zoning district, to really basically give the building, the property owner, and the community more flexibility, so that when tenants do surface or that are interested in the space, it's going to be a lot easier for the property owner to lease this space. There was difficulty before, which is why we had to come before you last year, and now we're trying to basically correct all that to basically keep these spaces activated and occupied. We appreciate the alderman's support of our amendment last year, and it's my understanding he submitted a letter of support this year as well. Alderman Sichko Lopez. This is just the site plan that was, that's already part of our PD amendment that was approved last year. With respect to community benefits, at this point, since we don't have a tenant under contract, we don't have any total project costs. It's going to be a dentist office. The build out it's certainly not going to be to a level in cost that was necessary for the other space that's going to be activated soon. But there's every desire and commitment to meet the levels for this particular project. And I believe that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We do have one speaker signed up to speak. He may have stepped out. Mr. George Blakemore? He stepped out, right? Okay. Then I will open it up to the commissioners. Are there any questions or comments on this item for the staff? Yeah, Commissioner Curtis?
Just wanna, I'm sorry, I just wanna, could you point out the area where the dentist office was gonna?
Absolutely, Alderman. This is the southwest corner of sub-area. Sorry. Thank you. This is the southwest corner of sub-area A. So this space right along here, which fronts Blue Island, so it's kind of almost at the corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
It's about 2,000 square feet.
Yeah, I grew up in that area. I know the building well.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Great.
Mr. Blakemore, we did call your name to speak on this item. Would you like to do it now? Thank you.
This developer and development I put on Facebook by 3 a.m. this morning how rich Chicago and the population is increasing. Oh, she's rich. But I use some other language. I use other terms. Sitting on Lake Michigan, the Chicago River, a global city, a rich city. Oh, people come to Chicago for their sports and everything. Chicago is rich. Go to the ghetto. Go to his ward. Go to the ghetto. And do you see any economic development in the ghetto? Stop beating up on these white folks. They are part of your kin folks. Beat up on these blacks. Beat up on these black faces in high places, selling black people out. Stop beating up on these white folks. They are still your kin folks. Beat up on these black ones. Beat up on them. And community involvement, no. Where's the people from the community here? You said you have community participation. Where are they? How many people attended these community meetings? Where's the altar people? Why don't you mandate anything come to the planning commission, Chicago Planning Commission? The altar must be present, or one of the altar representatives must be here. And how many people attended this community meeting? How did they vote? Do you have statistics or something to show that the community actually voted for this project? When did they meet? How many of them met? How did they vote? Do you have the vote? The involvement? No, because you don't want it. The planning commission for this. Because they feel like it's not important. It is important. So I will speak on every one of these items, and I'm going to focus on these black faces. Go to the ghetto. Go to your community. High crime, abandoned buildings, vacant lots. Go there. No economic development. You develop your own community. No store. No nothing. And what is happening? Black people are exiting Chicago, leaving Chicago. I will speak on these other items also, and thank you.
I'll turn it back to the commissioners. Any other questions or comments on this item? No? Thank you. I will go ahead and ask for a motion. Do a motion? Do I have a motion? Moving, yes. Do I have a motion on a proposed amendment to residential business plan development number 1067 submitted by Pilsen Gateway LLC for the property generally located at 1441 South Blue Island Avenue, finding that it meets the requirements for approval? Motion by Commissioner Dowell, followed by Commissioner Reyes. Roll call vote. Commissioner Boatright? Thank you. Commissioner Brumfield stepped out. Commissioner Castañeda? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Cheeks? Thank you. Commissioner Curtis? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Murphy? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Ramirez Rosa?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. The next item, sorry, is listed as D3, a proposed plan development submitted by the applicant Cal Melrose LLC for the property generally located at 3231 through 3265 North California Avenue. The applicant proposes to rezone the site from M1-1 and M1-2 to a B2-3. And then to a residential business plan development. The applicant proposes to construct a 43-story townhomes and 5-story building with 65 residential units for a total of 105 dwelling units. There will be a total of at least 107 parking spaces proposed. The proposed overall maximum FAR is 1.78. This is item 22986, and it's in the 35th Ward. James Winter will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, my name is James Gwinner with the Department of Planning and Development. The applicant, Cal Melrose LLC, has submitted an application for a proposed residential plan development at the property generally located at 3231 through 3265 North California Avenue to rezone the subject property from M1-1 and M1-2 to B2-3, and then to a residential plan development with 2 sub-areas to construct 43-story townhomes and a 5-story building with 65 residential units for a total of 105 dwelling units. There will be a total of 112 automobile parking spaces proposed. The proposed overall maximum FAR is 1.78. Subject site is located in the Avondale community area, which is a total population of 35,000 residents. Existing land uses in the neighborhood include multifamily and single-family residential, business, and other commercial uses. Now I will turn the presentation over to Michael Esger and Rolando Acosta, the applicant's attorneys, who will further explain the details of this proposal.
Good morning, Chairwoman, members of the Plan Commission. Rolando Acosta, I'm the attorney for the applicant. Mr. Esger had to leave for a quick meeting. Here with me today is Matt Wilbur, seated behind me, is a principal with the applicant. Howard Hirsch, who is the architect with Hirsch and Associates, the architects for the project, and Lou Abuna from KLOA, who's our traffic consultant. It is a pleasure to be here and present this project to you. Okay, great. So you can see on the screen the context for the site. It is on the east side of California Avenue, just north of Belmont, north of Melrose. To its immediate east is residential, to its immediate south is residential, to its immediate west is residential. To its north, there's a parking lot, and then north of that there are commercial uses, including a veterinary facility, Chamberlain College, and then north of that is a ComEd facility. Both California and Belmont, which is immediately south of the site, are bus lines, designated bus lines per the Chicago TSL ordinance. From a zoning, as James stated, property is currently zoned M11 and M22. It has been vacant for a good decade. I believe it was previously used way back when for the Creator's popcorn factory, where they made the glass carts that pop popcorn, but they abandoned the site many, many years ago. And since then, it has just been, it's been out for market with no takers. Residential seems the most logical reuse of this property. A bit of the site context, which I mentioned previously. The red outlines indicate the residential areas near the site. The blue outlines show you the commercial areas near the site, and the yellow outlines are primarily the industrial ComEd substation being the most significant one that is on the south side of Addison, north side of Roscoe. Immediately north is the vet facility. That's with the parking lot surrounding it. North of that, there's some industrial buildings. There's a venue space, and there's the Chamberlain College. This was previously the WMS campus, where, for those of you who know video games, Mortal Kombat was created. But since it's been vacated and converted to commercial uses. The proposal is the result of an extensive year-long process involving 2 large community meetings and extensive outreach in the community, and has gone to various iterations. It first started with 2 multifamily buildings. We took that to the community. We had 156 units total at that time and lower parking ratio. The community asked for lower density in terms of the residential development, a higher parking ratio, and that resulted in the plan that you now see, which has 3 rows of townhomes along the north portion of the site with a total of 40 townhomes, and 1 remaining multifamily building at the corner of Melrose in California, being a 5-story, 65-unit building. In terms of Chicago bike routes, there's extensive bike routes in the immediate area, including protected bike lanes, an easily accessible bike path that runs along the river. So it is well positioned to be a transit-served location, or at least provide transit access or vehicular bike access to the immediate area. Aerial view of the site, you can see the vacant parcel. It's approximately 91,000 square feet. It's slightly more than 2 acres. Again, another photo of the context. You can see the townhomes. There's townhomes immediately to our east, kind of low density, single family, 2 flat, 3 flats to our south. To our west, there's some 6 flats, but lower density, hence the townhomes concept. Multifamily building immediately to our south on Melrose, which is consistent with our proposal. Community outreach that I discussed. You can see it's been almost a year since we started this project, a little more than a year. We had a large community meeting attended by over 100 people and got our initial feedback. The alderman then let the comment period be open for a couple of more weeks so he could take comments from those who were not attending the meeting. He received extensive comments. He relayed those comments to us. During that time, we also secured comments from the Department of Planning and Development and made modifications. We submitted the revised proposal to the Department of Planning and Development, then held a second community meeting. It was attended by about 60 to 80 people, where we got a much more favorable response, having reduced the plan to what you see today. Anticipation is, hopefully, if we get your approval, the approval of the City Council, going to permits, starting construction the first quarter of 26, I believe, third quarter of 25, sorry, and then finishing about 18 to 24 months later. I'll just say financing is underway, because I know Commissioner Pinheiro asked that question, so I figured I'd answer it to begin with. The site is divided into 2 sub-areas. The sub-area in yellow or mustard is sub-area A, that is the multifamily site. The sub-area in green is the townhome site. The anticipated construction phasing would be to start at the north, start to build the townhomes, then come south to build the multifamily to the greatest extent possible, trying to keep all construction on site off the public ways to not disturb the neighbors. One feature that I think, it's not shown here, I'll show it in a second. You can see it here. So here you see the 3 rows of townhomes to the top of the drawing. Those are all 3 stories, 3 and 4 bedroom townhomes. Then the multifamily building, which is comprised of 1, 2s, and 3 bedroom units. What you're seeing is the ground floor plan of the multifamily building. Above the 21 space parking area that's in gray is a roof deck on the 2nd floor that can be used by the occupants of the multifamily building. You also see a red line immediately south of the site along what looks like an alley, but is frequently called Riverview Parkway. The neighbors tend to think that this is a parkway. It turns out that the western half or portion of that parkway, the north 8 feet, are privately owned by the current landowner. As part of this proposal, we will be dedicating those 8 feet to the city to make it a full public 16-foot vehicular path. We also have no access. This was a request of the neighbors. All access to the site comes from California Avenue. They did not want any direct access to that, fearing cut-through traffic would impair their use of it. Roof plan, again, 3-story townhomes to the north, 5-story multifamily building, a green belt in the center of the 2 center rows of townhomes. And then you can see the access path with 2 driveways off of California, one to the north, one to the south, making a U to get you back out from the site. Also been reviewed by the fire department to make sure that there's suitable fire access to all of the buildings. Landscape plan. There's significant landscaping on site, augmenting the existing landscaping on the public way along the perimeter of the site, having the landscape green space in between the 2 center rows of townhomes, landscape buffers, front yards for each one of the little townhomes to give them their required open space. And then we're contemplating permeable paving towards the east end of the U-shaped driveways. We have a lot of elevations because we have a lot of buildings, so I'll move through these quickly. This is the multifamily building. The buildings are predominantly brick with metal panel accents and some stone accents above the windows and doors. It's a 55-foot building by zoning height that you see here. This is the Melrose elevation of the building. Turning to the west elevation, or the California elevation of the building, this will also have the front door of the building. At the request of the neighbors, they did not want the front door on Melrose for fear that FedEx, Ubers, Lyfts would stop on Melrose and impair traffic flow. So the front door is placed on California, and it's envisioned that there will be 2 loading zones in front, a 2-car loading zone in front of the door to allow for those Uber, Lyfts, FedEx, etc. Apartment elevation to the north facing the townhomes. Again, brick metal panel. And finally, the east elevation that faces towards the homes and 2 flats on Melrose. This is the ground floor plan for the apartments. Parking to the back, access from the U-shaped driveway that I previously described. And you can see there's units on the ground floor activating both the California street frontage as well as the Melrose street frontage. Second floor, you can see the cutout at the top right corner, which is that green space above the garage that is a common roof deck for all to use. Again, 1, 2s, and 3 bedrooms throughout the building. And just a roof plan, there's another smaller roof deck on the top of the building. Townhomes, in terms of materials, same material palette, brick, metal panel, stone accents, varying colors of the brick. This will all become much more obvious when I get to the renderings in a minute, to give you some variations in the facades. And there's 6 buildings, so I'll just click through these. If anybody wants to see details, I can go back. but similar design for all of the townhomes, 3 stories. Floor plans of the townhomes. These are 3 and 4 bedroom townhomes. The ground floor holds parking. All but 3 of the townhomes have 2 parking spaces. Those 3 have 1 parking space. There's a room, bedroom, den, family room on the ground floor. The second floor is the living space, living room, kitchen, and then the third floor houses the bedrooms for each one of the townhomes. Much easier to understand when you see the renderings here. This is looking southeast, and you can see the multifamily building at the Melrose, California corner. You can see the rows of 3-story townhomes and how that blends into the existing neighborhood on Melrose and to the east and west. Looking northeast from the northernmost building of the townhomes, looking south towards the multifamily building. Again, you can see the consistency in height and unit type or building type as you look at this plan, as well as the brick materials with the metal panel accents. Just a view of the multifamily building at the California Melrose corner. This is the green space between the 2 center rows of townhomes, showing the separation. There's about 20 feet of separation between the townhomes here, with a nice green belt along the middle and sidewalks on each side. Pedestrian context, this is the corner of California and Melrose. The parking would be on the left side of the image. Sorry, the front door lobby would be on the left side of the image. Pedestrian context along California, looking from the north at the northernmost row of townhomes, looking south towards the multifamily building on the west side of California, east side of California. Just giving you a sense of the California frontage. This was reviewed by the Department of Planning, who suggested some foundation plantings and other plantings against the townhome buildings and some separation, and then a bit of a brick wall that you see here as you enter that center court between the 2 middle rows of townhomes. Again, there's a lot of street trees already in California that will be preserved, but to the extent there's any gaps, those will be filled with new trees. Transportation and traffic. Essentially, we use in California, it's been reviewed by KLOA as well as CDOT. They don't see any major impacts on the existing traffic. The California, as it hits Belmont, is a multi-cornered intersection because Elston approaches there also, but traffic tends to clear during the rush hour. Obviously, with a residential project, our impact is less than it could be if this were a office type of use or some kind of industrial building. Open space and landscaping, I think I've covered that previously, along the perimeter, along the green belt between the townhomes to the north side of the townhomes, with the contemplated permeable pavers along the east side of the U. Building materials, you can see the blending of metal panel and brick here to provide some variation in the facade, as well as the changing of colors in the bricks themselves to sort of separate the facade into segments. Sustainable development policy, making the 100 points, and notably bird-friendly materials being used, particularly in the glass. Stormwater management, obviously complying with the ordinance, has been reviewed by the City Stormwater Management Department. We have some green space that will offset it, but what cannot be offset through green space will be offset by on-site detention. ARO. So this project produces 21 ARO units. Because of the townhomes and the large bedroom count, we actually produce a significant number of family-size units. And by that, I mean 2, 3s, and 4 bedroom units here that will be affordable. The affordable units will be spread through the various income brackets of 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, and 80%. And in addition, at the request of the alderman, he asked if we could add some additional workforce units and commit to them. So we've committed to 2 more, not included in the ARO, but separate commitment, 2 more units in the 1-bedroom units in the multifamily building at 100% AMI. So the additional workforce units, those are actually memorialized in the plan development statements in statement number 17. So it's not just a verbal commitment, there's actually some teeth behind these. I think this just shows you the distribution of units by AMI. So scattered, obviously reviewed by the Department of Housing for compliance with the ordinance. But it's a nice mix. It's also a nice mix of large 3 and 4 bedrooms. And I know you don't see a lot of 3 and 4 bedroom AROs given the nature of construction in recent years. Economic and community benefits. Obviously, we're taking a long vacant site, improving it with a project that we think is compatible, creating about 200 construction jobs, $65 million investment in the community, and a nice expansion in the tax base. With that, I turn it back over to James Gwimmer to give you the department's recommendation.
Thank you once again for the record. My name is James Quinn with the Department of Planning and Development. The Department of Planning and Development has reviewed the materials submitted by the applicant and has concluded that the proposal would be appropriate for the following reasons. Proposed development is in compliance with the plan development standards and guidelines. The proposal promotes economically beneficial development patterns that are compatible with the character of the existing neighborhood. The proposal is designed to reinforce desirable urban features found within the surrounding area. Proposal ensures a level of amenities appropriate to the nature and scale of the project. The project promotes safe and efficient circulation of pedestrian, cyclists, and motor vehicles. Please refer to my staff report for further details on this project and the plans identified here today. Based on the foregoing, the zoning administrator recommends that the application for the establishment of the plan development and zoning map amendment be approved and forwarded to the City Council Committee on Zoning, Landmarks, and Building Standards as such. Thank you.
Thank you, James. We do have 2 speakers signed up to speak on this item. Mr. Butler Adams, who's for the proposal, and Mr. George Blakemore, who's against the proposal.
Yes, again, for the record, my name is Butler Adams. I am in favor of this proposal. It is a very handsome project. Less density and more parking, that's kind of a downside of the project. It seems to be kind of the opposite of what we really want to go for in this city. The 1-to-1 parking ratio, more than that, is kind of disappointing as well. Regarding the population of the area, right now it's about 35,500, but at one time it was about 48,000. So again, I'm certainly for the repopulation of not only the neighborhoods, but the city as a whole. I've gotten a chance to speak in favor of Mr. Hirsch's projects many times before in this plan commission. This is a nice one again. I'm glad that they mentioned they're going to use different color bricks for the townhomes again, because I had that on my list, but I'll have to really say it again. Let's see. I know the project is a roughly $65 million project, and I know this is not a question and answer session, but right now this area is not generating, this piece of land is not generating that much property tax revenue. And I wish that it could be put into this presentation as well as to how much this land it will generate once this development is fully built out. I know this is not a question and answer session, but this is just one of my questions. And I look forward to seeing this get done. I like the landscaping. It seems very, very lush, and that's going to be nice for the area as well. So look forward to seeing this get built. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Adams.
will just say this as well. I've been coming here for 20 years and have never been paid. Thanks.
I'm not going to say anything about this. You get something, you come in here, and I watch the way you speak, and you're not advocating for Black people. You're not advocating for Black people. So what would motivate you? I've been coming here for 30 years. And I'm very astute with public policy. I'm just not a popped up activist. Anyway, I'm seeing here those developers. I got eyes, I can see. They lily white. But they got black faces pat down and all over there in high places. How is it helping the black people? Why are black people moving out of the city of Chicago? The only ethnic group that's Xing out, and other groups are coming in. So it's something in here, and these community involvement. I don't see the Altman here. I don't see anybody here from the community. I am the black community. The power of one. One star can light up the darkness. I'm not getting paid. I'm not pat down. I'm not church. I'm not on the payroll. I'm speaking for me and my people. When you know better, you do better. I am the community. I'm the black community. I was brought up in a black ghetto in Fort Worth, Texas. And we had doctors, lawyers, engineers, professional people that was tending to their business. We had economic development where I come from. When you know better, you do better. You do better. The exit of black people from the city of Chicago. The big question is, why are they leaving? When all of this development going on, why are they leaving, going back to Minnesota or wherever, Wisconsin? Why are they leaving? Back down south to Houston and Dallas. Why are they exiting and another group is moving in? That's the big question. Why are black population not growing? They don't have the political clout. They're losing their ultimate because there's something wrong here. And what is wrong is with the black people. They don't know how to tend to their business. Business make this world go around. The golden rule is he who has the gold rule. The black, they don't have it. They're Xing out. They're not moving in. So you must get paid.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore. Do the commissioners have any questions or comments of the staff or the applicant on this item? Nothing? I used to live down the block from this, so I'm excited to see something go up. Finally, I drove by it last night too, and just to see how the site looks. I know there's also access to the river from there, very close. So these residents will have a nice quality of life just, being around that area. So excited to see it go up.
I wanted to correct, if I
Yeah.
may, thank you for the
Yes.
comments, Chairwoman. I agree with all of them. I drive by this every day on my path because I live just north of Huron, California. First of all, on our outreach slide, wherever it says 2025, past October of 2025, it should say 2026
Yeah, okay.
because we're a year behind in our timing. Second of all, I know he said it wasn't question and answer. This property pays less than $100,000 in property taxes today. An estimate, because it'll be up to the assessor, would be that once fully improved, it would pay over $1.3 million in taxes on an annual basis. So-
Different. Yeah, thank you.
And the alderman is supportive. James reminded me to tell you that.
Yes, I
have
should state
letter of
that, yes, that we have a letter of support from the Alderman Quesada on this item. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for that. Any comments or questions before I ask for a motion? No? Okay. Do I have a motion on a proposed plan development submitted by the applicant, Cal Melrose LLC, for the property generally located at 3231 through 3265 North California Avenue, finding that it meets the requirements for approval? Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Piñeiro. Do I have a second? Thank you. Commissioner Boatright. Roll call vote. Commissioner Boatright. Thank you. Commissioner Castañeda?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Cheeks? Thank you. Commissioner Curtis? Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Thank you. Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Murphy? Thank you. Commissioner Piñeiro?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Ramirez Rosa? Thank you. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Are you staying? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Cicho Lopez is now in attendance. We're done with this information. Yeah. Okay. The next item is listed as D4, an informational presentation by the Department of Planning and Development on the Pilsen Industrial Corridor Study. The document aims to modernize the Southwest Side Corridor through strategic city support for the local businesses and infrastructure, especially involving jobs, transportation, and open space, and redevelopment opportunities. The planning process will include analysis of economic and development trends within the corridor and planned manufacturing district number 11. The Department of Planning and Development initiated the study in late 2025 and will continue to engage area businesses, adjacent communities, local officials, and other interested groups to help develop recommendations that will guide future investments and land use decisions. Brad Roback and Edgar Lara will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Great. Thanks, Chairwoman and Commissioners. Thanks for letting us come here today and present about the Pilsen Industrial Corridor. We're very pleased to be presenting. My name is Bradley Roback. I work in the Department of Planning Development as a Director of Planning Research and Development in the Citywide Planning Bureau. I'm here today with my colleague Edgar Lara and from the same bureau. He's going to provide the overview of the study, but I just wanted to mention that Edgar and I are part of the planning team, which also includes other members of the Department of Planning and Development, as well as the Department of Housing. And we've also been coordinating with other departments in the city, like the Department of Transportation, Department of Environment, as well as some sister agencies. So I just wanted to introduce ourselves, and I'm going to turn it over to Edgar to go over the presentation, and then we'll be here for questions. Thanks.
Hello, good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Edgar Lara with the Department of Planning and Development's Citywide Planning Bureau, and today I'm here to provide an informational presentation on the Pilsen Industrial Corridor Framework Plan Study. The plan will help guide future land use, economic development, infrastructure, and public realm recommendations for the corridor while supporting its continued role as an important industrial and employment center for the city. The Pilsen Industrial Corridor is represented by the bold black outline depicted on the map displayed and includes planned manufacturing district number 11 as well as wards 11, 12, and 25. We are coordinating with Alders Lee, Ramirez, and Sigcho Lopez throughout this process. The corridor includes portions of the Lower West Side, Armory Square, McKinley Park, Bridgeport, and the near West Side community areas, and falls within the Central, West, and Southwest planning regions. It also includes the Pilsen Industrial TIF District. There has not been an adopted land use framework plan for this corridor since it was originally established in the early 90s, so this effort is intended to provide updated guidance for future investment, land use, and infrastructure improvements while responding to the significant land use and employment changes that have occurred over time. The study builds upon the goals of the 2023 Citywide Framework Plan, as well as recent industrial corridor plan updates completed by the department, including North Branch, Kinsey, Ravenswood, and most recently Armitage. The effort will continue focusing on preserving the corridor as a strong employment center while also incorporating broader citywide priorities related to equity, resiliency, environmental justice, public health, and infrastructure investment. The project initiated in late 2025 and is expected to continue through early next year. Early phases of work focused on data collection, corridor analysis, identifying engagement partners, and preparing the community engagement strategy. This spring and summer, we will focus heavily on public outreach, including open houses, working group meetings, pop-up events, and discussions with residents, businesses, and community organizations throughout the corridor. The input received will be crucial in drafting framework recommendations and design guidelines based on the corridor analysis and outreach completed throughout the study. The goal is to release a draft framework plan for public comment before ultimately returning with a finalized framework plan for adoption consideration. On May 6th, DPD hosted the project's first public open house at Dvorak Park as the kickoff to the broader community engagement phase of the study. More than 80 participants were in attendance, including residents, local businesses, civic organizations, community-based organizations, and other corridor users. The open house was organized as a self-guided engagement event with multiple stations focused on key planning issues within the corridor. Staff from DPD, CDOT, and Department of Housing were present to answer questions and facilitate discussion throughout the evening. At the open house, conversations focused on topics including but not limited to economy and workforce, transportation and infrastructure, nature and ecology, and health and community. Attendees discussed topics such as jobs and small businesses, traffic and transportation, river access and open space, environmental concerns, public safety, and overall quality of life in and around the corridor. We also heard concerns related to existing conditions and opportunities for future investment in the area. These discussions will continue helping guide the study moving forward. One of the display boards presented at the open house focused on employment trends within the corridor, which generated significant discussion around the corridor's changing employment patterns. Based on census data, the Pilsen Industrial Corridor has continued to grow as a major job center, with total employment increasing by approximately 77% over a 20-year period, growing from roughly 7,200 jobs in 2002 to more than 12,800 jobs in 2023. While manufacturing jobs declined over that same period, nearly every other employment sector experienced growth, including industrial support services, professional services, retail, and institutional sectors. The analysis also showed that not only have jobs created been increased over time, but more of those jobs are going to Chicago residents, especially residents living in and around the corridor. In addition to employment data, we also showed attendees data regarding changing land use patterns with the corridor over time. Based on CMAP data and field verification conducted by staff, industrial land use decreased by approximately 15% between 2001 and 2024, though it still remains the dominant land use today. During that same period, increases occurred in transportation and utility-related uses, commercial uses, institutional uses, and vacant land. These land use trends mirror the employment analysis discussed previously, particularly the growth in non-manufacturing sectors and the increase in commercial and office-related activity concentrated in portions of the Eastern Corridor near Halsted Street. As the outreach continues, staff will also be expanding engagement opportunities for those unable to attend the open house in person, including through the project's upcoming virtual webinar scheduled for June 9th. The webinar will provide another opportunity for residents, businesses, and community organizations to learn about the study, review the information presented at the open house, and continue the conversation around priorities and concerns within the corridor. Staff will also continue tabling at local events and coordinating additional working group discussions throughout the study area. Looking ahead, staff will continue technical analysis and community engagement throughout the remainder of the study process. Upcoming efforts include continued outreach, the promotion of a public survey, establishment of a working group, and additional coordination with local organizations and sister agencies. Staff will continue refining the framework plan through our ongoing outreach and technical analysis. A QR code displayed on the screen will take you to a video recap on social media. Thank you, and we are available to answer any questions from the commission.
Thank you, Edgar. Any questions? Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Yeah, Commissioner Reyes?
Just to comment, I truly appreciate this effort within the PD and the other departments. And I thank the alderman for his support too, because I believe to hear that nothing has been done since 1990, it's pretty significant. So I very much welcome this opportunity, and I will make a point to attend some of these meetings. Thank you.
Yeah, Alderman Sicho Lopez?
I appreciate also the opportunity to have a discussion, an open conversation on this important corridor. There was a lot of conversation around the use of TIF dollars in particular around the area. So I'm glad that we have here the CEO of the Park District, because as of recent, right, we have, for instance, park districts that don't even have changing rooms in the case of the Dvorak Park. So if the issue is that we generate revenue, but the revenue doesn't really help the neighbors, then what is the TIF dollars for then, right? So I would like to see, the discussion around use that is available, right? That, I mean, it is sad to say that I don't know how long that Dvorak Park has been there, but to this day, we don't have changing rooms, right? We have a lot of infrastructure that needs to be addressed. And I do think it's important to incorporate the green spaces that already exist that are in need of improvements, right? This is a successful corridor. Job creation has happened. TIF dollars have been generated. And it also has to benefit the neighborhood, has to endure also the pollution and other external issues that we have with this corridor, right? I do think the neighbors, what I'm hearing from my constituents when they went, and I hope the next time don't coincide. I had to go to Springfield on the same day, but I do hope that in the next opportunity, we do bring some of the industrial players to the table. I'm still concerned, in fact, the previous recipient of the Leary program actually is not in existence anymore. It's an organization that went defunct. I expressed my concerns about those meetings when they don't have the community, when representation is not included in those spaces. I'm not going to go into details, but the lack of transparency, it is bad for the neighborhood, it is bad for planning, and ultimately even bad for these same organizations. I do hope, and I still hope that the Leary recipient, what I understand is the Pilsen Chamber of Commerce, have learned from this, but I'm still concerned about the same practices that do not include. We must have these conversations. We do not want industrial companies like cement plants that open overnight with no one around the area aware of it. The lack of planning has consequences. I do think also that our community has also support the use for residential areas, for the TIF in particular, the TIF use. That is something that we would like to explore. We use, as you know, TIF dollars to eminent domain 18th and Peoria, which we now are going to have finally after 23 years. And I'm glad we have here another member of Planning Commission has been witness almost, I would say, what call that of almost the entirety of it, right?
Yep, since 2006. Yes.
So I do think that, it is about the needs of the neighborhood ultimately. And I do think that it's critical that we invest, and I'm glad that TIF dollars were used to make sure that now those are public lands. We announced for the first phase, 76 units of all affordable housing for families in the community or enrollments. And also I would like to refer to the schools. We have a lot of public schools in close proximity to the industrial corridor. So it needs to be planned properly. So when we come to this council to ask for help to make sure that the use of this TIF is adjusting with the changes in our community, we mean that it is important to look at these opportunities. I'm glad that the city moved forward with the use of TIF dollars to now do the first phase, 76 units of all affordable housing that will stabilize all enrollments. Because as our families leave the neighborhood, so does our schools suffer. Our school enrollments are, I think in the last report, lost almost 40%. We used to be one of the youngest, if not the youngest community in the whole city. We're losing that because families are moving out because of lack of affordability. In close proximity to the industrial corridor, we have many schools. So we have very fast streets like Cermak Road, for instance, Cermak Road or Blue Island, right? We almost have like a semi-functional trail road that is still, we still have chains from time to time with very little planning. There's a lot of accidents happening because we have heavy traffic. So we need to plan accordingly to the needs of the schools. We want to continue having our schools in our community. I'm not supporting any school closures. We want to make sure that we rather invest in families so families in the neighborhood can stay in our community. And this plan, I think, is welcome when we are using TIF dollars to build affordable housing after 23 years. And I will be working with Alderwoman Dowell in Finance Committee so that the planning in our community has some funding. I understand the concerns for some aldermen that had that this was a large TIFs and all of that. But if we can put $700 million for a private stadium, I do think that we can have some funding so that we can create affordable housing for families in need who actually have paid those taxes, as opposed to these mega developments who actually get subsidies that don't quite, in my opinion, don't even need. So I do hope that we can plan together in this planning commission. Our community is ready to have this conversation, and I look forward to have this planning commission and city council, finance committee, and others to make sure that we put in the interest of our families and our communities ahead of the big industry and developers who have big benefactors of these TIF dollars. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman. And I do apologize, Mr. George Blakemore. You did sign up to speak on this item. You want to do it now? Mm-hmm.
Did come down. You know, these Hispanics got more sense than these blacks. Say it again, Mr. Blakemore. These Hispanic aldermen and people, they're not moving out of the city of Chicago. They're moving in, and they're advocating for their people. Ellen Blakemore, why would you tell me that? She said Nathan Jones got more sense than you. She said the other lady's son in my classroom was smarter than me. But Ellen Blakemore loved me more. She fed and clothed, but she wasn't crazy and she wasn't stupid. She said, that little boy is smarter than you. These Hispanics aldermen are smarter than the blacks. They advocating for their people. He showed up and he said he's not pleased. He wants other things to be improved because the white folks was out to move the Hispanic out of Pilsen. With that medical over there at Stroger Hospital, the whites are moving in. He's standing up. He's and fighting for his constituents. He said the schools are losing population. That show that they are moving out. It's too expensive for them. So he's for this developer and development to bring affordable housing to his people. Oh, yes, I'm glad I showed up here. These blacks don't have the sense and the commitment and the culture of these Hispanics. They advocate for their people. He said, I'm for this, but I want to work with this commission over here. He's going to be here with these community meetings for his people. Ellen Blakemore said, Nathan is smarter than you. I came from Ellen Blakemore, but she could see that other little boy had talents that I didn't have. She wanted to motivate me and stimulate me to stand up and be great. So I'm not just hating on Pat Dowell and these black ones. I love you. You are black like me, but there's something wrong here. You're black like me. Your hair's nappy like mine. Your behind is black like mine. Why don't you stand up for your people like they stand up for their people? Ellen Blakemore, Nathan is smarter than you. Was he? I don't know. Yes, you do. Maybe if he was, she wanted me to excel and succeed. I'm not hating on y'all. Can't you see how that man advocated for his people? Didn't you hear him? They wanted to move all right now. All right now. Answer.
Commissioner Dowell?
Jesus, Jiminy Crickets. I noticed in the presentation that you mentioned CMAP as being a part of this analysis. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Commissioner and Chairman, at some point, can we have like a briefing on the relationship between CMAP and the planning department for me and all of my colleagues? I know that they've been around since 2005, but we never see them. And they are currently doing some work, I believe, in my community on 51st Street, but they haven't had a conversation with me. So I think it would be helpful for my colleagues and I to understand the relationship, how they intersect with the planning department, what they do, who they are. I'd like to see some faces because the names that I'm looking at on their website, I don't recognize any names.
And maybe for the sake of this presentation, we can talk about CMAP's specific role from a research standpoint. Maybe Brad
Yeah.
can share. But yes, I'm absolutely open to talking about our engagement with CMAP on other studies.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner and Alderwoman. The reference to CMAP here was the data that we pulled for the land use, land use component of the research that we're doing for here. But we're happy to reach out to them.
They generate regional data annually.
Yeah, well,
The-
not annually, it's every several years, every 3 years or something along those lines.
And is it just based on census data, or do they do their own surveying, or?
They do census data for population and some employment analysis, but for the land use data that's up on the screen right now, that's done through remote imagery,
Okay.
as well as some other on the ground.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more about who they are. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because they're involved in so many things, right? Yeah, yeah, okay. Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Ramirez Rosa?
Yes, thank you so much to Department of Planning and Development. At the Chicago Park District, we're very excited about this framework plan for the Pilsen Industrial Corridor. And we absolutely would like to be included in the process, given that Canal Origins, Dvorak, and Canal Port Riverwalk are located within the study limits. So we look forward to participating and being part of this process and the good that will come from this exciting planning process. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Boatright?
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge my team and their thoughtful engagement. This is the beginning of the study. I think it's important to acknowledge kind of where we are and that there's opportunity for community to engage via the survey. And I think it's probably worth a couple seconds in talking about the ongoing engagement opportunity, and how community residents, community stakeholders, nonprofits can actually weigh in. Maybe you or Bradley can share with the commission.
Maybe I'll take that one. Thanks, Commissioner. Yeah, we are going to be having some additional engagement. A couple of those things were mentioned today. We have a survey that's ongoing. We have a webinar coming up for people who couldn't attend the open house. So we're going to present very similar, almost the same material, get input on that from people who, could not make it to the open house event. We've also been having small group discussions. So we've been working with the Leary, but we've also been reaching out to other community-based organizations, environmental justice groups. We're doing one-on-one tours with various businesses in the area. We're trying to be as representative as we can from the different wards and different sectors of the businesses that operate in the industrial corridor. We're going to be establishing a working group, which will include not only city and sister agency representation, the Park District as well. We'll be reaching out to those folks, but we also want to include some of those community-based organizations that I mentioned earlier and that you were referring to, Alderman, to be as inclusive as we can of the different voices that are represented here in the industrial corridor. One last thing, and I'll stop talking, is that we're also looking forward to doing some pop-up events or, at some local, events that happen over the summertime. And one of the community groups that we talked with actually had a really great suggestion to actually go and attend some of the churches that were in and around the corridor, to maybe attend some of those meetings. And then we did reach out to Benito Juarez High School as well to kind of get their input on the study too. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other comments or questions? No? Oh, Commissioner Reyes, yeah.
I'm happy that Commissioner Bourright asked that question because truly it's important that you share with all of us how intense your community outreach is going to be. And I am a resident of Pilsen and also work with an organization that is based in Pilsen, the Resurrection Project. So I'm sure that my organization would love to be part of those conversations. And during the summer, Pilsen has a lot of festivals. So I will also recommend that you guys get the calendar because the more participation that we can have, the better. Even though I know people in my community are going to find a way to complain, but nevertheless, I think that it should not be because the opportunities for them to voice their opinions were not given. So I appreciate that, all the efforts.
Thank you for that. Any other comments or questions? And this is ongoing, so we'll have a chance to be more involved throughout. If not, this was just an informational presentation, so there's no vote necessary. So we'll move on to the next item. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Edgar.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
The next item is D5. It's another informational presentation by the Department of Planning and Development on the Bronzeville Trail Framework Plan. The document will establish a community-led vision for the future Bronzeville Trail, adjacent land, and how the trail can connect to and promote the local community and its rich history. The Bronzeville Trail Framework Plan will continue the practice of developing a land use plan in advance of large green infrastructure projects which reflect the aspirations of the local community. Will Holland will provide the context overview and present the proposed plan.
Good morning and thank you. For the record, my name is Will Holland. I'm a city planner in the Department of Planning and Development, and I'm here to present the Bronzeville Trail Framework Plan for informational review. Similar to the city's past planning efforts, especially with the Englewood Nature Trail and Agro-Eco District, the Bronzeville Trail Framework Plan continues the trend of advancing a green infrastructure project alongside a land use plan. Additionally, this plan will include a historical framework that will explore how the trail can connect to and promote the rich history and assets in the Bronzeville community. DPD is also working with our partners at CDOT and DCASE on this project. And here you can see the boundary, our study area boundary in yellow, and the former Kenwood Line rail embankment in dark blue, stretching east to west across the middle of the screen. This elevated railroad embankment was formerly a passenger line. It's been out of service since 1957. Currently, it is owned primarily by Cook County Land Bank Authority with a few parcels in the City of Chicago ownership. It crosses the 3rd and 4th wards. There are connections to the Green Line at Indiana, as well as connections to the 41st Street pedestrian bridge connecting to the Lakefront Trail on the eastern end. Here's the timeline for the plan and engagement. The plan kicked off in the fall of 2025. Bronzeville Trail Task Force was onboarded as our community partner for this effort. And Bronzeville Trail Task Force has convened a 10-person steering committee that will be assisting with the plan. They'll be advising on content for engagement and plan recommendations, assisting in outreach, assisting in facilitating open houses and engagement, and supporting identification of focus group participants. We plan to have 5 focus group meetings where we will be convening local subject matter experts to talk through specific themes, including trail access and connectivity, housing, economic development, and land use, arts and culture, tourism, and historic preservation. The plan has begun looking at some existing conditions research, especially around demographics, land use, conditions of the embankment, and these existing conditions are informing the the framework plan, there's three major topics for the framework plan: a trail framework, a land use framework, and historic framework. Regarding that trail framework, some of the significant existing conditions that there are 4 station houses within this structure. These are former rail line stations that provide connection from the grade street level up to the elevated embankment. 7 bridges have been removed, 6 are still intact, and 2 sections of this embankment have been removed. They're between Cottage Grove and Drexel. This was demolished for a housing development, and one portion starting at Wabash Ave going west of the alley, which was removed to accommodate a bend in the Green Line. So these are significant design challenges and opportunities that we'll look at in more detail in the plan. Related to the land use plan, this is an area experiencing household growth above the city trend. Our analysis is that since 2010, looking at household groups across age, income, and household size, that there are no decreases across any of these groups, that household growth is stable to increasing. The growth has been led by higher income households, but the base of this community is, nearly 40% are very low income households, and this area is home to a significant stock of affordable subsidized housing. The area also has a rich history and enduring legacy as Chicago's Black metropolis. The Kenwood Line ran from 1907 to 1957, connecting residents to the Stockyards Employment Center. And the area is home to landmark buildings and the Black metropolis Bronzeville Chicago Landmark District. Some of our goals for these different frameworks: for the trail framework, we would like to finalize the access points for the trail, and develop a high-level trail vision and concepts for programming on the trail, and also develop concepts for how to create connectivity across the entirety of this trail, especially given that some portions of the embankment have been removed. The land use framework will focus on developing a land use plan which reflects the aspirations of the community and will provide a list of zoning recommendations to match the land use goals. The historic framework will provide an accessible overview of the city's historic preservation tools and also provide strategies for how the trail can connect and promote the community, its history, and existing assets. Next steps for the plan is there will be a June 3rd public meeting at Wendell Phillips High School. The kickoff meeting will provide the public an overview of the plan and include a number of exhibits and activities where the audience can talk to staff, provide feedback on their hopes and concerns for the project, share some of their visions for what the trail can be, and as well as share their knowledge on what local assets should be considered, and strategies for improving mobility. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have a few speakers signed up to speak on this item, so I'll call their names. Al Penn, who's for the proposal, followed by Mark Stuckey, sorry, for the proposal. Walter Freeman, who's for the proposal. Mr. George Blakemore, who's against the proposal. And lastly, Mr. Butler Adams, who's for the proposal. If you can line up by the microphone, please.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning.
My name is Al Penn. I am board member of the Bronzeville Trail Task Force. We'd like to thank you for putting us on your agenda today. We are a nonprofit who looked at the Bronzeville community in terms of looking at unattended assets in the community to see exactly what we could do to create green space, activities for people in that area, and to make a change in the area where people can look at having something that they can actually qualify as saying that that's their own. This project is going to be monumental for the Bronzeville community. We're looking at roughly $150 million to do this, and it will trip off roughly about $1 billion worth of development in Bronzeville. The fact it's in a historical district brings it a ton of relevance. Places such as the Emmett Till House, Roberts Temple, just to name a couple of historical assets that are in the community, bring it really relevance to Bronzeville from a national perspective, and in some cases, international perspective. We're very anxious and excited about where we are with the Department of Development. We're very anxious in terms of where we are in terms about its future. One of the things that I hope to do is that I live long enough to see the opening of this trail and be able to experience the benefits that it's going to give everybody else. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. Mark?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Mark Sinstack. I'm the Executive Director of the Chicago Defender Charities, which produces the Bud Billiken Parade. Our president, Mighty Sinstack Rice, Dr. Mighty Sinstack Rice, is a board member of the Bronzeville Trail Task Force, and I am her proxy on the board. The Bronzeville Trail is an example of what's called a Rails to Trails project. These projects across the country have proven to provide economic and health benefits to the community. We want this trail to do the same thing for Bronzeville. Bronzeville, unfortunately, as many communities in Chicago, has experienced disinvestment over the decades. This trail will help to reverse that trend. I walked the Bloomingdale 606 trail, which is in existence, which is comparable to what we want to do in Bronzeville. I walked it from the west end to the east end. I saw a lot of residential development along the trail. We want to bring these health benefits and these financial benefits to Bronzeville. I am thus in support of this program.
Thank you. Mr. Freeman?
Good morning, members of the Plan Commission. Again, I'm Walter Freeman. I'm Chair of the Bronzeville Trail Task Force, and we are elated to be here. We definitely thank Will Holland for this opportunity. We started this project 6 years ago in 2020 and had no idea how to develop a trail. And so we're excited that the trail is owned partially by the city and by the Cook County Land Bank, which gives us a leg up on timeframe. This is a health initiative. We know that there are other trail projects around the city. We feel that the trail, Bronzeville Trail in Bronzeville is transformative. We have the opportunity to connect the Bronzeville Trail to the lakefront through the 41st Street Bridge, and we also have transportation asset, which is the Green Line at 40th and Indiana. So we feel that those two connections will be very important to this project. And again, we're just grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Blakemore?
My name is George Blakemore, and I am against this project. Bronzeville is not Bronze anymore. Whites have moved in. Low-income people have been moved out. Bronzeville is not Bronze anymore. When they had Black business people living there, Black people with business, tending to their business, a group of Black people that embrace their Blackness. Now Bronzeville have whites moving in, and Madam Pat Dowell is encouraging this. She only wants a certain type of blacks in her community. She don't want a lot of low income. So Bronzeville is not the typical Bronzeville anymore. When they say 501c3, you know what that means? They're getting grant money. Those gentlemen are getting paid. Mr. Blakemore is not getting paid. He doesn't get no 501c3. I thought this man was just going to say that they was businessmen getting their own money, not grant money. What motivates them? The Defender is gone. The Chicago Defender is gone. You're living in the past. It's over. The Defender is gone. We don't have papers like we used to. We don't have social media. We don't have business. You don't even have a bank. You don't have a grocery store coming up here trying to be bougie like you got it going on. You don't have it going on. But back in the day, black people had business. They was tending to their business. The way the capitalist system is run. He who has the gold are in control. Not 501c3. He who has the gold are in control. And they have gentrified black people out of Bronzeville. Out. The Defenders, when they have that little parade or something, it's gone. But Billikenberg, it's not the Bronzeville of the old days where we had black businessmen, not depending on government, but business. Black people, I challenge you to tend to your business. And your business is money, honey. Heard that loud and clear.
For the record, again, my name is Butler Adams. I know this is just an informational proposal right now, and I'll find out more information on the 3rd of June, but I think it's a good thing. I do know that they're looking at a wider scope, not just this corridor, but around it as well. So this is an opportunity to build up more density around the area because there is so much vacancy right now. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing this happen. I'm very familiar with the area. My dad is very familiar with the area. He went to St. Dorothy, and that high school that used to be right around here. So looking forward to find out more what's going to happen with this plan and the land that's vacant around it. So I'll look forward to it. Thank you.
Any comments or questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Dow?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I want to first thank Will Holland and his team, the Department of Transportation, Commissioner Cheeks and his team, Commissioner Boatwright, and the members of the Bronzeville Trail Task Force. First, I want to thank you guys for coming down today. I want to say that I am delighted about the promise of the Bronzeville Trail and what it can bring to our community. I think I speak on behalf of myself and my colleague Lamont Robinson of the Alderman of the 4th Ward. He and I are simpatico in our support for making this happen. We understand that this is a tremendous, or what I would call a heavy lift, but I think we're starting out the right way with community engagement and a planning process that will identify the assets and liabilities along the trail and what we need to do to bring it across the finish line. I want to say that there is a buzz in the community about this, and I'm looking forward to the June 3rd kickoff meeting at Wendell Phillips High School because the Bronzeville Trail Task Force members have been going around to meetings, to events, just trying to build up support and knowledge about what we're trying to do here with this trail. To some people who say, you know, that the community is no longer quote unquote Bronzeville, I remind them that at least 30, and not low income, I mean, at least 30% or over 30% of our housing is subsidized. It's the second highest subsidized area in the city of Chicago. Secondly, we have grocery stores. We have 2 and we have 1 on the way. So I think when people look at this community, they have to do their homework and make sure that the information that they're providing to the world, because this is all televised now, is accurate and not just rhetoric. So I want to again thank members of my community who live in my community for coming down and giving support for a very, very innovative project. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? No? Okay. Well, thank you. We won't require a vote on this one as it was only informational. Thank you. And that's it for today. So I'll go ahead and ask for a vote to adjourn. This concludes this month's meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Commissioner Boatright. Commissioner Curtis, roll call vote. Commissioner Boatright, you said yes. Commissioner Castañeda? Yes. Thank you. Commissioner Cheeks? Still here? Yes? Maybe? No? Curtis? Yes, okay. Yes, he said yes, okay, I didn't hear. Thank you. Commissioner Dowell? Yes. Flores, yes. Who's left? Oh my God, Murphy? Yes, thank you. Ramirez Rosa? Yes. Thank you, you're still here, and that's it. We get to go home or work or whatever we, yes, whatever we want. Thank you. This month's meeting of the Chicago Plan Commission is now adjourned at 12:11. Thank you. Thank you.